What's up, guys? Baseman here.
Welcome to the Diablo Research Institution. I am your host, Professor Icedeck. Appreciate you guys for coming by. Like the video if you will. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the page, and hit the bell so you're notified next time I post a video. And blessings to my channel members and patrons. Links in the description below. So, right here in front of you is my droid. And this is where I'm at as of right now in the ladder, alright? So I don't want anyone getting jelly here. Because I've made some vast improvements over the past day. Boston and I, we was running through hell, killing all sorts of shit. I'm not quite finished with hell yet. I'm in, let me check, Act 3 Hell with my droid. Goes by the name of Woofy, level 77. And yes, I did force transition him into a wind droid. Alright, now maybe that was a bit premature. I wish I would have waited and tested out Summon just a bit more thoroughly, but I do intend to test out Summon more in the Research Institution. One with identical gear or very similar gear to what mine here is currently wearing, so I can determine then, from my research and experimentation, which route to take. Alright? Because I still have 2 respecs left. I really don't want to waste them, but we'll see what happens. So, nonetheless, here's my droid. He's wearing a spirit sword, and the first roll I got a perfect 35 FCR. I found 2 4-socketed swords right away in Nightmare. The first was in the Den of Evil. I was very pleased with that. It was an ethereal 4-socketed broadsword. And then I found this crystal sword in the Stony Field or something in Nightmare. So 2 4-socketed swords right off the bat. Didn't even have to use the socket quest. Very pleased with that. And let me show you the rest of the gear. Triangles gloves. I found these, I think, from Nightmare Mephisto. Pretty much my first decent find. And I needed that 20 FCR. I'm not sure if I need it anymore because I have dual spirits now, but nonetheless, was very pleased with this ring that I found. Poor man's Nagel ring with some added lightning res. So epic ring in my opinion. I'm wearing this belt right now just so I can wear Spirit Shield. I'll probably replace it soon. Just need a few more points of the strength. 5 to be exact. Nagel ring. I found a perfect 30 Nagel ring. I don't remember where I found this thing. I think it was in Tristram Nightmare when I was fetching the leg for cows. I'm pretty sure that's where I found it. These boots, don't remember where I found them. Well, actually, it was Hell in the Canyon of the Magi. And they had run walk on them in dual res and a nice 10 FHR, so I popped that shit on. Finally traded for a Monarch. I found Tel Rasha's belt, and I traded the guy. I just put it in the trade window, and he accepted it. Initially, I tried to give him, like, a doll room or some shit. I often do lowball, and eventually it works, but, yeah, he didn't accept the doll, and he, for whatever reason, took that Tel belt. So I Larzucked this thing. I had all the runes, and unfortunately, I only rolled 26 faster cast rate. But as long as I'm wearing this sword here, it's probably not interfering with my breakpoints. Baza hooked me up with this. I gladly took a handout. Didn't give a toad. Nice 2 to elemental skills, so I was very pleased with that. I found this thing. Not very desirable attributes on it at all, especially for a wind dodo. But nonetheless, I popped 2 flawless topaz in there and 1 perfect topaz. And I was very pleased with finding the Spirit Shroud armor. Some cannot be frozen on it, 1 to all skills. I was damn pleased to find that thing. Just a bunch of junk charms, lightning res, couple of them. Just small res on them, a nice 6 MF one right here, so I was pleased with that. And the skills, I didn't put anything into shapeshifting, of course. Summons, I just put 1 into all. Alright, and then I have a bonus from my helm to Dire and Grizzly, which isn't very helpful, but nonetheless I have it anyway. And here's how I maxed the skills. I first maxed Tornado, which is now doing 2,900 damage. Quite nice at level 27. I then maxed... Come to think of it, no, I first maxed Hurricane, which is 27 as well, 1,400 damage. Then I maxed Tornado. Then I maxed Cyclone Armor, 1,830 damage, absorbs. And it's a synergy for both Hurricane and Tornado, and it makes your Hurricane last a while. And then I finally just recently maxed Twister. And at level 77, so I maxed that out. And now, I believe, well, I can either pump up Grizzly more, which I'd love to do. I just love having a pet that does decent damage. And right now his damage really sucks. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to take the route, I think, where I put more points into Oak Sage. It just keeps dying. It has very poor health, 150 life. So it really sucks. Now, I'm going to show you how well this guy fares in the pit. Alright? Now, Cyclone Armor, something that's epic about it, is you know when the enemies are cold enchanted or fire enchanted, and you get close to him, you start whacking him, and you just start getting scared because you know he's going to pop, and he's potentially going to kill you, because it just always does a ton of damage, especially when your resists are complete ass, like mine. So, what's nice about Cyclone Armor is generally, so far, it has absorbed every bit of damage from those explosions. He pops, right? And my character doesn't take any damage. It's awesome. But I do make sure to cast Cyclone Armor again right before I face such an enemy. And right before he pops, generally. So, yeah, Cyclone Armor is awesome. And it does absorb fire, cold, and lightning. So I'm kind of curious. Do you even need resists with a fire droid? Do your resists still apply to the absorb shield here? Or is it like mana shield where they don't? Does anyone have an answer for that? I'm kind of curious. Because, of course, in which case, you wouldn't really care about having shitty resist, right? If it absorbs all the fire, lightning, and cold. You just have to prioritize poison, in which case Sandstorm Trex would be great for this guy. But here's how well he fares in the pit, which is primarily what I wanted to run. I do have a teleport staff on Switch. And stay tuned for my next video. I think I'm going to experiment, again, with this guy with the same gear, only specking into Summon Dodo once again. I just love being able to hang out, love being able to chill, and just let all my homies do all the work. Let all my doggos, let all my dogs, my home dogs and shit, my grizzly. Oh, and there's something very notable about this build that has vastly improved it. The only problem with it is that I have to suckle mana like a freaking fish, and that part gets kind of annoying, because check out my mana regen right now. I wouldn't mind a nice, like, 55 mana Grand Charm at this point. You gotta be careful. Gotta be careful in the pit still. Still could get my little tail swatted. In fact, make that safety TP just in case. But here we go. So I found a Pull Rune, which is probably my best find so far in this ladder. Alright, a Pull Rune. Look at my mercs. There you go. Yeah, you can see it now. If you're inquisitive, you can see it. He's casting Decrepify on him, that's right. So I traded my Pull Rune and a Foul Rune for the Reaper's Toll. Of course, the guy was asking like a mal for it, but I'm a hustler, so I was working it. You know, a couple laughed at me, took off, left the game, said there's no way you're getting it for that shit. But yeah, eventually I got one for a Pull Rune. It really didn't take that long at all. And it's nice that you can actually search the game titles now. So I just typed in Reaper in the game title and I found a couple games with trades. So I traded that. Got the Reaper's Toll, because I knew my mercenary was going to be godly if he gets this thing. And it helps solve a couple issues. One of which, my merc can survive a lot better. He has a lot of life leech on him now. And he's casting Decrepify. He can freaking tank. So really, this would be a great weapon for both. In fact, I think it would be endgame weapon for both Win Dodo and Summon Dodo from what I want. Of course, you could try Infinity, but that's really just helping you with your shitty cold damage. And when you're a Win Dodo, you're prioritizing your tornado, your physical damage. And this breaks physical immunities. Most of them in the game, it'll break. Of course, you could have a Thunder Charm for that. But if you had a Thunder Charm and it breaks the physical immunity, and then you get him with the Reaper's Toll, you're really going to kick their ass. So it's better. It's even better with the Thunder, obviously. So basically, it pretty much doubles the damage of your tornadoes. It makes them do a hell of a lot more damage, right? And your mercenary can tank everything. It's awesome. And I found Dusk Deep, so he no longer needs Life Leech on the helm, which was a struggle for me for some time. I didn't have a Life Leech helm. I was about to bust my ass in trade just to get a freaking Towel Mask, okay? But fortunately, I didn't have to do that, because I ended up going with Reaper. And I was hesitant. I was like, do I really want to spend this pull around a Reaper? I could get a Jalal's Mane or something like that. Have the nice mana per kill, have the skills, resist, FHR. But I decided to go with Reaper, and I'm very pleased with my decision. And check this out, he's already at 69 res all at level 77. He's a Might Merc, or a Prayer Merc, which I might switch out. I might switch out to Holy Freeze, is kind of what I'm thinking, and Jab. Now here's something that I also did recently. I made a Hustle Armor, and this is the way to go with a mercenary. In some ways, this could be better than treachery. Basically, with Reaper's Toll, you want to hit 75 IS total on your mercenary, alright? So this gives you some great options when you're using Hustle, because this does have 40 increased attack speed. Now, treachery, of course, has 45. Now, is that going to be a factor? No, it's not. Because in order to reach 75, you can quite easily reach it with G-Face even, an awesome hit power helm with no IS and no resist. You can still hit that massive 75 breakpoint. He's going to be attacking fast as a frickin' toad because you make a Hustle armor, you put a Shale rune in your Reaper's Toll, and then you put a 15 IS jewel in pretty much any helm you want. And it doesn't have to have IS on it because you're still going to hit that 75 IS breakpoint as long as you put a 15 IS jewel on the helm. So you don't have to worry about using Endy's Visage or whatever the hell else. You can use whatever hell you want. And that's why I'm going to go with G-Face. So he's going to beat the shit out of bosses with Crushing Blow, Deadly Strike, have a nice fast rate recovery. It's going to be awesome with G-Face. But yeah, I have some work to do, obviously. But even with that being said, with no added IS, aside from Hustle, he's still attacking fast as a frickin' toad, alright? And in addition to that, something that sets this apart from Treachery is the fact that he runs as fast as a freaking toad as well. 65 run walk, and it's very noticeable. He gets to the enemies quick. He casts that Decrepify all over the place. Now, a question I have for you guys, for the students in the research institution, all right? Does evade work for the damn mercenary? Because this thing gives plus 6 evade. I'm not seeing it on his little skill set. But does he evade? Let me know in the comments below and post with it some proof for that shit. For research purposes, maybe I know the answer to that, maybe I don't. No, the truth is, I don't know the answer to that, alright? So I'm kind of curious. That would be awesome if it works. I have my doubts. I don't think it does. But if evade works as well, this is definitely an alternative to treachery for some endgame builds, if evade works for this thing, alright? I know you're missing out on the DR from the Fade and the nice curse duration reduction, but if you can still max out your res, obviously Treachery is going to have its place still. If Conviction's on your Mercenary, his res are going to be beyond the cap, which is really going to help lower res and all that crap. But nonetheless, this thing is awesome, and it's easy and cheap to make, so Hustle is a great armor. But check this out, man. I mean, see, look how fast he goes. Look at him go. Pretty damn fast, and here, let's see. Oh my god. Oh my god, how did he kill him so fast? Look at him go. Come on, buddy. The wolves are probably getting in the way. I think I'm going to unsummon the shitty wolves. Okay, the wolves went bye-bye now. I'll keep the bear out. I like the bear, he thick. I like the bear a little bit. It does very poor damage. See this? He's trying to hit this enemy. He can't do shit to him. I mean, he does a little bit, but he's a tank. He helps mitigate damage is kind of his purpose. Which the wolves do as well, but they do kind of get in the way, I think, of things. Like, they'll get in the way of your mercenary. So I'm not sure if I want to deal with that right now. Yep! And check this out. I can telestomp. Problem is, it's about 2,500 gold per teleport. I just feel like that really adds up, so I don't use it all that often. It gets really tedious saving up all the gold. But yeah, I am curious to try out the summon build. Although I am killing pretty fast with this guy, I would say. From what I was previously with my droid, just before I attained a few gear pieces. Like, Spirit was a massive improvement. When I finally got that damn Spirit shield to couple with my Spirit sword. Massive improvement. Good res, 2-to-all skills. I was just using Rhyme, and what's awesome is I'm not even missing out on the Cannot Be Frozen from Rhyme at this point. Because I have it on my armor. I also found a Ravenfrost, so I could pop that in there. Ravenfrost is probably the best time that I found so far. Found an Act 2 Sewers, aside from the Pull Rune. Quite in par with one another, I would say. I can't recall the roll on Raven. It's kind of a mid-range roll. So, and yeah, I'm losing out on the Fire res from Rhyme. But I do get 10 for all the other res added with this thing. And again, maybe I don't even need the damn fire res because I have Cyclone Armor. I'm not sure. That's another question I have for my students here, if you guys would have an answer for me on that. All right, but yeah, you get the massive faster hit recovery, and with the cyclone armor thing being mentioned, I do get poison res at least on this spirit, 35 at that, so 10 more than what I had on the rhyme shield. In which case, that might be the only res I need. I just don't really know. I was never much for the Wind Dodo, but I want to try something new. Want to take the spiritual journey, and this is where I'm at right now. Now, of course, they really excel when you can teleport all the time with Enigma. So that's kind of what I'm missing out on. And it's going to be a long journey to get an Enigma, obviously, especially for somebody who's not using JSP, not taking any handouts, not playing a crazy amount, just kind of playing at my own pace, just enjoying the journey. Enigma could be a long damn ways away, assuming I don't get really, really lucky. So we'll see what happens with that. But the problem is you kind of miss, you know what I mean? Like these tornadoes when you're standing way back. I'm going to teleport on this homie. See if I can take him. It's a bit risky. Yeah, look at that. Destroys. Destroyed him. Ooh, we've got a little Elroad. Oh my god! Okay, this is the second Ellie Baba. I got my other one at Nightmare Cows. When I was live streaming, in fact. Hell yeah! I mean, I'd take a Lemrune for that. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Giant Thresher. I mean, I like having a good insight on hand just in case. I might have to cube socket that Giant Thresher. See if I can get 4 sockets. Yeah, obviously Insight has its massive benefit where you get infinite mana. In which case is why I think Jalal's main would par well with this build with the 5 mana per kill. If I'm not going to be using Insight, because I'd love to see how well I can maintain my mana with some added mana per kill. So I might give that a shot. But what do you guys think? Those of you who are familiar with using the Wind Droid, do you prefer what would probably be either Insight or Doom? Wait, you wouldn't word Doom for that, would you? Insight or Reaper's Toll or Infinity? Which one do you prefer on your Mercenary? I feel like, from what I've read online, that the real pros, they use Reaper's Toll. Because they know that Infinity, as cool as it is, it's only really going to help you with your shitty cold damage for your Hurricane anyway. And it barely breaks any cold immunes for that matter. But then again, now with Sunder Charms implemented, Infinity might have a bit of an edge now, come to think of it. Because you'll break all the cold immunes, and then of course at a very high cold res still when you break it. And that's where the conviction for Infinity will come in, where it'll pierce it a lot more. So, hell, maybe Infinity gets the edge now, come to think of it, with Sunder Charms being implemented. It's very expensive, obviously. I'd be very far off to get in that. But for now, the Reaper's Toll, I think, is great. And I'd also like to try it on a summon droid. But yeah, appreciate you guys coming by. Like the video if you will, hit the thumbs up button. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace be with you.